Hello, thank you for watching. My name is Maria Forrest. I am a medical intuitive and theta healer, and I wanted to share what are the top 3 things that I've noticed throughout my practice with theta healing. And I did also talks around Miami in different venues, and the name of my talk was Emotional Detox, right? It was about trying to learn to live a more emotional well-being, right? So there's 3 things that I shared in my talks, and this is just going to be very briefly, but it will help you if you can implement them into your life. So number 1 is we live, basically we believe all of the thoughts that we have. And you might have heard this before, right? But your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not the highest truth about you. The experiences that you've had in the past do not define who you are. So if that younger version of you reaps this little head and says, blah, 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 it's okay. Let your thoughts come up. That's part of being human. We're going to have thoughts. We're going to have these experiences. There's no way you can just totally quiet the mind. It's going to be a part of our experience for the rest of our lives. But what we can do is we can be more of the observer of that thought, right? Instead of the reactor and believing everything that comes up, is being more of, oh, okay, that's interesting, right? And being more of the observer. So don't believe everything you think, right? Especially, one thing I taught my kids, which I think was very powerful for them when they were growing up, is, everything, you've heard this before, boils down to love or fear. Are you coming from a place of love, or are you coming from a place of fear? So if that thought that's coming up for you, if it feels loving, then it's coming from a place of love, right? And if it's a thought that is kind of like putting you down or making you feel bad, then it's probably coming from a place of fear. So those thoughts that are coming from a place of fear, just acknowledge them, but don't believe them, right? The ones that are coming from a place of love, like, yes, you can do this, you're onto something, this is amazing, keep going. Those are the thoughts that you listen to, and those are the thoughts that you run with, okay? So don't believe everything you think. The other thing that I noticed, that's a big one, is we're living in a having versus being society, right? It's like, I have to have this, and then you have it, and then, oh, now I have to have this, because once you have something that you've been wanting, it's like, okay, now you have it, now what, right? So we tend to look outside of ourselves in this society for pleasure, or we look outside of ourselves for fulfillment and happiness, and we tend to realize that, yeah, okay, now I've got the car, now I've got the work, now I've got the job that I've always wanted, now I got the husband, now I have the kids, and it's like you still don't feel happy or fulfilled, and that's because we're looking outside of ourselves. We think that that's what's going to make us happy, that's going to make us happy, and really it's about going within and identifying and tapping into that part of you, right, which is who you really are, and connecting with her or him. And that is through whatever does it for you. Some people go out and they meditation, or people go out into the into nature. Nature makes you feel yummy, right? The sun, you have mountains, not in Miami, but wherever you live, there's so many opportunities to just step outside and feel nature, right? And that is connecting with who we really are. So meditating can help us to go inward, to find that love, right, and acceptance and all that stuff that we're looking for outside of ourselves. It's about finding that within us. So I promise you that if you keep searching outside of yourself for happiness, you're gonna come up short. So that's my second step, or my second observation, right, about having versus being society. So I encourage people to meditate or do a theta healing that'll get you to a deeper place, so that you're able to tap into who you really are and not who you think or believe you are, so that you're not outside always searching and searching and searching, because you have all the answers. You have all the answers, I promise you. And then the third one is a feeling versus numbing society. We tend to want to numb, right? Every movies when I was growing up, people were having a hard time. They had a rough day, they had a glass of whiskey, and then they numb themselves. So we know that that's the society we live in, because there's so many people that are either drinking or taking a drug to make them feel good, right? If we were to work on the two previous things that I just spoke about, that would help a little bit, because we're not looking outside of ourselves, right? We're not looking outside of ourselves for happiness when we're going inward. And if you don't know how to do that, please call me, I'll help you. But it's really living a life where you're feeling all of your experiences, right? You know, you've heard the expression, you got to feel it to heal it. Well, that's the biggest truth, right? So instead of going out and numbing and running or working or having, you know, food to make you feel good, is identify, okay, what is it that I need to feel right now? And actually sit there and feel it fully, right? So if it's, you know, some people say, well, you know, I don't want to have to feel all this stuff anymore. And it's like, well, and they think it's not spiritual, but that's not true. Everything is spiritual, right? The good and the bad in life, right? The awesome love relationships and the ones that don't work out, they're all good. We're all learning from them, right? It's just allowing ourselves to feel all of that when it happens, and not run to, you know, to the bar to have a drink, or run to the TV or to the computer to sort of numb it and, you know, push it down and push it down. Because what happens is that eventually it's going to rear its little head and it's going to come out even full force, right? So feeling versus numbing society, give yourself permission to sit there and feel, okay, why are you having that, you know, why are you eating extra? Sit there and feel what it is that you need to feel. Or why are you drinking every night? You know, just sit there and feel what you need to feel. And I promise you that if it's something that's horrific that has happened in the past, like if you have had a trauma of some kind and you don't feel safe to feel this on your own, well, there's people like myself, and there's a lot of professionals, I'm sure where you live, that you can contact to have them hold that space for you. But I promise you that if you allow yourself to feel it fully, then it could subside, right? But if we keep repressing and numbing it, it's just going to accumulate and get worse and worse. And then we wonder why we struggle. We wonder why we feel like crap all the time. We wonder why things don't work out for us. And so that's the third one, feeling versus numbing. So allow yourself time to feel, right? Everything. Feel it all. I hope this helps. These are the top 3 things that create emotional toxicity, and I hope this has helped you in some way. And I would love to hear from you, so please reach out. And if you have any questions or you'd like to schedule a session, please call me. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day. Goodbye.